It's my privilege to invite the distinguished guests, chairs of this session, to the dais, Dr. Eduardo Liano, Secretary, Fish Health Section, Asian Fisheries Society, and Dr. K.K. Lal, Director, ICR SIBA. I also invite the session coordinators, Dr. M. Shashishekhar and Dr. Saraswati, Principal Scientist, ICR SIBA, to kindly join to facilitate the proceedings. Before we begin, let me briefly introduce our esteemed chairs. Dr. Eduardo Liano is the Director General of NACA, based on Bangkok, a position he has held since 2024. He has also been serving as a Senior Program Officer at NACA since 2010. He oversees NACA's regional programs and leads initiatives on aquatic animal health, biosecurity, food safety, and certification, supporting Asia-Pacific countries in disease surveillance, antimicrobial resistance, and biosecurity. Dr. Liano serves as Secretary to Asia Regional Advisory Group on Aquatic Animal Health, the Secretary-Treasurer of Fish Health Section of Asian Fisheries Society. He is also active in several WOH advisory groups and the AP AquaNet Steering Committee. Previously, he was a researcher at Aquaculture Department of Southeast Asian Fisheries Development Center and held a postdoctoral role at Taiwan Fisheries Research Institute and National Taiwan Ocean University. Dr. Liano has authored over 60 scientific publications and co-edited 8 books in aquaculture and aquatic animal health. Dr. K.K. Lal is the director of ICR SIBA, and with this now, may I request the chairperson to kindly conduct the proceedings of this plenary lecture. Sir, please.
A pleasant good afternoon, everyone. So now we are on our introduction to our plenary speaker, my good friend, my former colleague at NACA, so Dr. Chadag Mohan. So Mohan is a globally respected expert in aquatic animal health and sustainable aquaculture. He recently retired as a principal scientist of World Fish, where he led the Aquatic Animal Health Research Cluster and the One Health Initiative under the One CGIAR, impacting programs across Asia and Africa. His work has informed national and regional biosecurity frameworks, AMR strategies, and nutrition-sensitive aquaculture policies. He is a productive author with more than 166 peer-reviewed publications, and his research continues to shape the global discourse on responsible aquaculture and aquatic disease management. With a PhD in aquatic animal pathology from the University of Stirling, he brings over 40 years of experience in research, teaching, and policy, from his early academic tenure at the College of Fisheries in Mangalore to his leadership roles at NACA, supporting 20 Asia-Pacific countries. So without much ado, I would like to call on our plenary speaker for this DAA 12, Dr. C.V. Mohan, to talk on aquatic animal health research and development in Asia from 1975 to present, so you know how old he is. So how far have we come in terms of this aquatic animal health management, research and development? Dr. Mohan?
Thank you very much. A very warm welcome and greetings from Chennai, from my ICR colleagues, from my former FSH friends, my seniors, my mentors, from many. And I'm very happy to be standing here to just reflect on what I think has happened over the last 50 years. Please do not have any high expectations. It's all very simple, very basic, and most of you know this multiple times. But still, I thought, let me reflect on the journey of 50 years with respect to aquatic animal health. And by coincidence, 75 is the year when I also joined as the first year student of the famous College of Fisheries, Mangalore, as an undergraduate student. And I feel very happy today, and feel very happy today to reflect on 50 years of what little I know about aquatic animal health, what has happened over the years, and how should aquatic animal health be taken forward in future years to come. And as very nicely introduced by Ed and also Dr. Kuldeep, I did have the privilege of working in college, studying in the college first, then working in the college for nearly 22 years, which was a great opportunity to understand my limitations, at the same time appreciate the uniqueness of each individual student. So that was a great benefit of 22 years of teaching. Then I was fortunate to work for nearly 13 years in NACA with around 18 Asia-Pacific governments with respect to aquatic animal health and sustainable aquaculture and all that. And recently, before retirement for the last 11 years, I was fortunate to work with one CGIR based in, World Fish based in Penang, Malaysia. So all this has provided multiple opportunities for me with respect to interacting with people right from farmers, fishers to policymakers, and really realize how little we know when it comes to any subject and how much of vast knowledge is there outside our boundaries. So learning always becomes a continuous process. So with that background, I just want to reflect on 50 years, purely from my perspective. Some of you might agree, some of you may not agree, but I'll be happy to share and discuss at a later stage. This is already very nicely touched upon by one of our speakers, Dr. Behra. Global aquaculture, all of us know, very, very important, and it's exceeded capture fisheries. And Asia is the principal player with over 91% production. And all the countries, you all know, I don't have to name the countries, they're all in Asia. And even if you look at the projections 2034, we know that Asia is going to be the place where the future aquatic foods would come from to support the capture fisheries component. But for us, most of us assembled here, what is more important is Asia was in the past, presently, and in the future will be the hot spot for us to collect samples, to exchange information, to understand disease, to study disease, to build rules, regulations, guidelines, policies. Asia will be the place to experiment, innovate, anything to do with aquatic animal health management, anything to do with biosecurity governance, because the diversity and the nature of the farming systems, the nature of the primary producers, the nature of the value chain actors is all totally different to a Norwegian salmon farm or to a, so it's totally different. So if an aquatic animal health management strategy were to succeed in Asia, then I'm sure it can succeed anywhere in the world, because the diversity is so much, so many species are there, so many small scale value chain actors are there, so it's not a very easy thing. So with that background, I want to move on. I'm very, very happy to be part of the journey of the Fish Health Section DAA series. And in my opinion, DAA series has been one of the very, very productive platforms right from 1990 onwards. If you see, 1990 was Bali, Indonesia, 93 was Phuket, 96 I think was Bangkok, then we had Cebu, then we had Gold Coast, then we had Taipei in China, then we had Colombo, then we had Mangalore, Ho Chi Minh City, again Sarawak, and now we are in Chennai, DAA 12, and we will know who will host DAA 13 maybe at the end of today or at the end of this week when DAA 13 host country will be known. So what started as a simple experiment of bringing scientists together, today has turned into a very interesting knowledge exchange platform across people working in aquatic animal health from different parts of the world. And if you take the book of abstracts of this DAA series, which many of people have put together, including great efforts from people like Melba, Rohana, Celia, Suprani, and others, you would see how the pattern of aquatic animal health research over the years has changed, how the type of abstracts being submitted has changed, what progress, what improvements. So if somebody were to just research the abstracts of the DAA series till DAA 12, one would see how and which disciplines have progressed, which disciplines have not progressed, where more needs to be done, where many things were not needed were done, and all these things can be very nicely understood by the visiting the DAA series, because this is exclusively on diseases with respect to Asian aquaculture. And another important highlight of all the disease conferences is there is no parallel sessions, only one session. Whether you are interested or not, you are made to sit through parasitology, to pathology, to microbiology, to molecular biology, to biosecurity, whatnot. So that way, it's a very interesting area to imbibe a lot of things what's happening, not just restricting yourself to only one. So that I think is still a very good thing. I'm very happy that DAA 12 has also maintained the same template and the format of one session for all the participants, so that everybody is there, they can interact and learn. So DAA series has been our, in my opinion, it's been our collective learning journey, and it's been a very useful journey. Very lifelong friendships have been built. People are very well networked because of this, and there are many great people have contributed to this. So we are very, very pleased. We can go on with a long list of people who have contributed to the success of DAA series under the fish health section of the Asian Fisheries Society. So if you look at the uninterrupted conduct of this once in 3-year triennial symposium, it's just a testament to the important role of aquaculture in Asia, and as rightly pointed out by many, the need to address disease, the need to manage disease, the need to minimize the losses from disease. So this has been one major platform, and now more and more we are talking of ultimately the One Health benefits, the One Health outcomes out of managing disease in aquatic animals. For me, look back, I think these three, I call them the big three. It was a blessing in disguise for all the researchers in aquatic animal health, for research, for capacity building, for networking, and for collaboration. Had it not been EUS, had it not been white spot syndrome, had it not been AHPND, I think many of us would not have even known one another. These three diseases have really come as a blessing in disguise for all the old, new, young, and upcoming researchers, because these have been, brought in so much of interest in the aquatic animal health science arena that many people have come together. And all of us know the EUS story, the famous story of epizootic ulcerative syndrome, how long we struggled right from 1971 onwards with multiple definitions like ulcerative mycosis, mycotic granulomatosis, red spot disease, finally OIE agreeing with infection with Aphanomyces invadens, and now again maybe some more changes. But what it taught us is the importance of critical diagnostics, the importance of differential diagnosis, the importance of pathology. Now I'm very, sometimes I feel sad that pathology is slowly disappearing, but pathology is the foundation for all aquatic animal disease understanding. If you forget pathology, then I think you won't understand disease. You might identify a positive, negative, test case or a sample case, but you will not understand the disease. So for me, this is again an opportunity for all of us to re-emphasize the importance of basics like pathology, like epidemiology, differential diagnosis. So these are all very, very important. That should not be forgotten. So this has been taught to us by these three important diseases. EUS, especially with respect to pathology. Pathology gave a big boost to understanding and coming to a common agreement that, okay, this is this disease. Mycotic granuloma is the character of this disease. Same is true with white spot disease. If you look at, this gave a very big boost to diagnostics, especially molecular diagnostics, using high precision molecular diagnostics to pinpoint not only the disease development, but also to pinpoint hundreds and hundreds of carriers which were there. And now we know everything in the water is potential carrier of white spot syndrome virus. But how we uncovered is purely because of the molecular tools that came in from several labs across the world. And this is where we also see how the advanced labs from Europe, advanced labs from Northern America, and advanced labs from other countries came in to the region to work and collaborate with the regional researchers and scientists and others and establish. So this is again a big blessing in disguise. And the recent one, I think it's a big blessing in disguise for us with respect to systematic outbreak investigations. Till AHPND, majority of the outbreak investigations, if you revisit and see, they were not systematic. They were not system oriented. They were not epidemiology type of oriented. There was less of differential diagnosis. But when EMS came in, I think more and more researchers adopted a systematic approach to describe and understand the disease. So I would say these three were a real blessing in disguise. I do not know what new disease will come in future to carry this legacy forward. But at this stage, for me, these three diseases are definitely blessing in disguise. If you look at the animal health, the World Animal Health Organization listed diseases, fish there are 11, but for Asia, as this is purely with relevance to Asian aquaculture, we know it is epizootic ulcerative, we know it is tilapia lake virus and koi herpes virus. And here we have experts on koi herpes virus like Dr. From Indonesia who is working with CSIR, August. So that was a very good case of August being a very young researcher trying to understand KHV when he was in Indonesia, and how he developed understanding of KHV, and he not only developed his career in aquatic animal health, but how he helped a large bunch of youngsters to develop multiple skills and develop specialties with respect to a single disease. So diseases have come and actually enriched many people, supported building their careers and building their, and I really I remember the role of FAO, the untiring efforts of August in trying to really meet the requirements of emergency disease response and all that. So ultimately, if you look back, these are all the building blocks of great researchers, how it has helped them to come up. Shrimp, anyway, we know there are 10 listed diseases, but for us, I think AHPND, white spot, IMNV, and whitetail, they are the critical ones for us, for Asia, and we hope no new disease will come into the list. Mollusk and amphibians, even though there are, I didn't put, because at this stage in Asia, mollusk and amphibians are not that important when you compare to fish and shrimp with respect to the scale, with respect to the economics, with respect to the economic losses. Another important thing is the risk of transboundary spread. So this has fueled the fear of disease spreading from one country to another country. With trade, with movement of live aquatic animals, with illegal border crossings. So this fear or the risk has fueled a lot of good things for us. It has fostered a very strong international collaboration, strong interest from donors, strong interest from international agencies, and this has helped to produce several public goods, which some countries have used very efficiently, some countries are planning to use it. And if you look at the list, this is a long list of public goods that has come about purely because of the threat or risk of transboundary spread of aquatic animal pathogens with trade, with frozen shrimp, with live aquatics. So if you look at the development of all these public goods and see, the basis is the spread of transboundary pathogens. You have several public goods. I just thought, let me just list a few, like the live aquatic animal movement guidelines. There are multiple guidelines. Risk analysis frameworks, there are many frameworks, including import risk analysis framework. Biosecurity governance, and I think somebody mentioned about the FAO work which Melba was leading on the progressive management pathways. So several frameworks and guidelines have been established, and the regional and international disease reporting system, and how this has helped countries to put together their disease reporting system and align it with the regional and international requirements. So overall, this has helped to progress the science, the knowledge, and the understanding of diseases. Now let's look at outbreak investigations. For me, this has really evolved and transformed. If you look back, maybe 20 years, it was very random, it was very reactive, and it was limited to the expertise of the individuals. If it is Mohan, he might do only parasitology. If it is another person, he might do only mycology. If it is another, he might do only pathology. So it was limited to the expertise of the laboratories, individuals, and and it was always a single pathogen approach. But now if you see, we are very happy to see that it's becoming more and more systematic, becoming more comprehensive, becoming more collaborative, becoming more transparent. People are ready to share the results, ready to exchange the material, ready to share the positive materials, ready to share the tools, which was not happening earlier. So this has significantly helped the present day outbreak investigations. If you were to do an outbreak investigation in 1980s, you would be struggling alone and you would be very worried will the secret be out? Should I tell anybody where did I collect the sample? But now this is not the case. People are happy to share. People are happy to share the same sample across multiple laboratories and tackle it from multiple directions. So this shows the maturity of the aquatic animal health research community. I hope and wish that continues, in years to come. You look at diagnostics. Again, as all of you know, it's fully transformed. Both the science of diagnostics as well as the expertise behind diagnostics. This has fully transformed in the last 10, 20 years. It has earlier moved from pure parasitology, pure microbiology, pure mycology, to pure pathology, to more into molecular biology, metagenomics, AI-based diagnostics. So if you look at the way, again, if you go back to the fish health section DAA series, and if you go through the abstracts, you will realize how this has progressed. You'll see where more diagnostic papers are there, where there are less diagnostic papers, which years. You'll see how this has progressed. And I would like to re-emphasize the importance of these three diagnostics, which were promoted very widely in the beginning years by FAO, by NACA, by multiple agencies in the Asia-Pacific region, what we called as level 1, level 2, and level 3 diagnostics. And this really benefited the Asia-Pacific region, especially many countries in Asia, how to approach a disease investigation, how to approach a disease diagnosis. So this again points to the fact that basics should not be neglected. Basics should be always kept in mind while we move forward with AI or with drone-based diagnostics or whatever you want to call it. And my favorite thing, looking at the progress in the last 15 years, is National Aquatic Animal Health Programs. A sea change has happened in the National Aquatic Programs in Asia. I'm only referring to Asia, not talking about Europe or Americas or Africa, but in Asia, national programs have significantly strengthened. There are hardly any national programs in many countries. It was very rudimentary, very basic. They did not know how to do a disease reporting. They did not know how to verify a health certificate. The competent authority was helpless. He didn't know whether to sign yes or no. But this has changed significantly, and national programs in several Asian countries have matured, have become very strong with respect to several components. Now surveillance is there, emergency preparedness is there, diagnostics is there, national list of experts, national list of laboratories is there, and people know who to contact, when to contact, how to contact, what we can get. And ultimately, many governments in Asia are now better equipped to meet the national priorities, to meet the regional and international trade obligations, and also to meet the world trade WTO SPS standards. So this is again a significant progress which we have seen in the last 15, 20 years. Again, I don't want to name the countries, but many countries in Asia which are leading in aquaculture production have made major progress in strengthening their national aquatic animal health programs in the last 20 to 30 years. And this great progress in the region, we should really thank the respective national governments. We should thank FAO, we should thank NACA, World Organization for Animal Health, and other organizations who have actively supported this type of a national activity, and by supporting through series of capacity building and other sort of activities. Next, my other favorite thing is systems thinking and epidemiology. We have great epidemiologists right in front of us, Professor Kenton Morgan. So, earlier epidemiology was never heard in the Asian region. I think it was Chris Baldock's first training program that was done in Asia Pacific, I think through NACA and RE and others, that really, taught some definitions for some of us who were the first batch of trainees on what is epidemiology. And then Kenton took it forward, and Kenton really helped to implement several strong, very useful projects in the region, Vietnam, India, and other countries, and really showed how simple field studies without major laboratory investments can yield beautiful results which can be easily published in very high impact journals. So high impact publications need not mean a molecular lab or a metagenomics lab. A basic, well-designed, structured field study could give you multiple papers provided it is done properly, as considering some of the epidemiological parameters. So I think now more and more people are inculcating systems thinking type of approach, epidemiological or a population type of thinking in their disease investigations, in their disease research, be it diagnostics, be it management, be it biosecurity, governance. So that way, these two key thematic areas have come into the Asian researchers. And this too, there are significant opportunities to develop this further. If anybody today were to be doing a PhD, and if he says, I would do metagenomics, where you are encountering billions and billions of positive signals, I would advise them, no, please try to do a simple systems thinking or a epidemiology project to describe a disease. I would advise him. That would give you more results. So there are a lot of things which people do not realize, but only when they dig deep into the subject, they realize that there are a lot of things that can be done by simple observations, simple systems descriptions, simple approaches to solve some of the basic problems. So I am a very strong advocate of a systems thinking approach and an epidemiological approach to looking at diseases. And nowadays, this approach is slowly being used to map pathways of fish exposure, to identify hotspots for emergence, to identify hotspots for antibiotic resistance, to identify even routes of human exposure. So this is very advanced, and a lot of people are good at systems mapping, scoping, and by doing simple brainstorming exercises, they're able to describe the disease pattern very clearly, and also to help to design better subsequent research projects. Networking and collaboration, yes, this is best, has highly matured and very impactful nationally and regionally. Again, example is our DIS series. Example is many of the multilateral projects which have been done in the region in collaboration with multiple research institutions. And international organizations have played their role. Again, to re-emphasize FAO, OIE, the World Organization for Animal Health now, NACA, World Fish, CIFDEC, World Bank, FSHA, so series of things. And even the DIS series, as I repeatedly stressed. And the national research institutions. So now we see this getting translated to the national research institutions. There is more coordination. And again, an example is the national surveillance system, which was mentioned by Dr. Jana in his talk. How from nowhere, networking has been established with more than 35 institutions, plus some of the Department of Fisheries field staff. So that is a very good example of how an idea can be taken forward and how it can be developed into a national program, and a program which is owned by the government, not owned by an individual, not owned by an individual lab or an individual center. So this is again a very good example. Capacity building, again, thanks to the 3 diseases which I mentioned in the beginning, countless capacity building training programs have taken place in the region, countless. And it would be again interesting to see what are the programs and what is the present research capacity in each of these programs. So I can name many workshops, brainstorm, master classes, training classes. So many things have happened in Asia, and all thanks to these big diseases, which when the economic impact was high, there was a desire to create a project, create a program. If the economic impact is not high, nobody will bother about the disease, nobody will bother about writing a project on that. But the moment the economic disease of an impact of a disease is severe, then multiple people come together in the fear that this is going to wipe out the industry, this is going to create a major problem. And that has helped to multiple training programs, multiple workshops. And again, you might ask how this has helped. Marginally, we may not be able to quantify the effect of each training program, but collectively, over the years, this has actually widened the horizon of many researchers, many teachers, many youngsters, and more researchers we are seeing are coming into the area of aquatic animal health research. So these have significantly helped. And here again, I think we should remember some major donors like the Overseas Development Assistance, DFID, as it's now called, I think, by the UK government, which was instrumental during the EU-US days in setting up labs and setting up training programs. RCR of Australia has also done several training programs and several research projects. JICA of Japan, USA. So many of these, and there are many other donors, but all of them have pitched in because there was a demand and there was a crisis. So people have responded to the crisis, and this has helped to build the capacity, build the expertise, build to help the establishment of national and international research labs. You look at laboratories of excellence. There was none. When I joined as a fisheries college student in 1975, hardly there was any lab of credibility which could be told as a very good lab in aquatic animal health. But now you look around in many countries in the region, there are many labs which have which is specialized with respect to individual disease and individual pathogens. And again, one lab which we should always remember and recollect is the epizootic ulcerative syndrome lab in Thailand called Aquatic Animal Health Research Institution that was established under the ODA, and that lab played an instrumental role in training large number of people from the Asia Pacific region, which were all suffering from EUS. So that lab helped to build a lot of trained human resource, because that lab was designated as a EUS lab in Thailand. So that played a major, so like that there are many labs, but this lab was instrumental in promoting the concept of pathology, promoting the concept of understanding how the host pathogen tissue reactions takes place, and how you can really interpret that to arrive at some decisions on the basic diagnostics of the disease. Now there are several national laboratories of excellence have come up in Asia, and we can be very proud that there are more than 6 or 7 World Animal Organization for Animal Health recognized reference laboratories for serious infectious diseases of aquatic animal health. So this is a big credit to the region for the last 10, 20 years. And one recently, I think the NBF chair got the OI reference lab for epizootic ulcerative syndrome. So this is actually a very proud thing, all because of the past years of research and support. Aquatic animal health data. So the data, again, if you look at early 70s and 80s, the quality of data was very poor. There was hardly any even economics. Now also we are struggling to get good economic data of disease cost and disease loss and all that, direct and indirect causes. But now this is slowly changing, and this is reflected by the number of high impact publications. Look at the number of publications coming out of Asia Pacific, and it's amazing, all high impact journal publications. It's again a clear indication of the quality of the data, resilience of the labs, resilience of the individual investigators and the networks who are really tackling key problems and providing quality data and getting it published and making it widely available. And there is also more interest by the value chain actors like farmers, producers, and other national governments on the quality data and how the data can be used for some informed science-based decision making. So this is attracting a lot of, but still, with respect to data, we can tell it's a long way to go with respect to national repositories, how to use the data that's there with the OIE, use the data with the regional system, data with the national systems for making long-term scenario planning for the country, long-term management plans for the country. So it's actually a lot of work to go. Now everybody talks of One Health, very good. But if you remember 1975, 1980, epizootic ulcerative syndrome days itself, One Health was there in the discussion, but it was not discussed as One Health. People are worried about should we eat ulcerated fish or not. That is again One Health. People are worried. And many countries, the policymakers had major problems in deciding should we ban fishing from open waters or not ban fishing from open waters. So One Health was being discussed even in 1970s and 1980s. With respect to consuming EUS infected fish. So One Health is now being promoted more and more because people are seeing the 3 components, the animal component, the human component, the environment component. But One Health was there even during the EUS days, but none of us described it as One Health. We were only telling the human safety or human food safety. So One Health was very much there. So what I feel now, if you look at all the advancements with respect to aquatic animal health research, the knowledge, skills and all that, if we have to really translate these advancements into the tangible One Health outcomes, good for the environment, good for our aquatic animals, good for the human beings and the consumers and others, not easy, not at all easy, because we need a fundamental shift in the attitude, practice, behavior of all value chain actors, right from the farmer to the policymaker and in between all the players, the feed supplier, the seed supplier, hundreds of people. Unless knowledge is there, information is there, tools are there, but still we may not be seeing the change what we want to see, the desired change. That is purely because of the attitude, practice, behavior. That applies to all, however educated they are or however uneducated they are. And the simple examples are misuse of antibiotics, including us and our own cases. Doctor tells us complete the 7-day course, and many of us may not complete the 7-day course. We just do the 3-day course, the fever has gone, okay, let me not bother taking the antibiotic. So that is where behavior, attitude and practice comes into picture. Science is there, but science need not be followed. So this is where I think if you have to translate the 5 decades of research advancements and knowledge into tangible One Health outcomes, I think the next very important area which aquatic animal health researchers should think of collaborating and doing is include social sciences in your research. Bring in social scientists, use social science. This is largely neglected by the aquatic animal health research community because we are eager to diagnose, we are eager to report, we are eager to tell this is positive, this is negative, but we forget about the attitude, practice, behavior of our principal actors who are instrumental for solving the disease crisis. If they are not changed, if they are not influenced, if they are not managed, then whatever science we have, it may or may not be of much use. So I feel social science research should become a component for all future collaborative projects, and each one of us, when we design a project, we should see whether we can find somebody nearby university, some social scientists who can be part of us. Similarly, we can bring in economists also into our research team. And many of you would have heard about SBCC, Social Behavior Change Communication. So this is now becoming a very important tool in all extension, outreach, and activities, because this is very difficult, very, very, very difficult when it comes to change the behavior and practice. And another thing which I feel is domestic matters. So this is what is largely neglected by many countries. When it comes to food safety or disease research investment, domestic and the low-value species, largely neglected. Nobody bothers about carps, catfish, and tilapia. Everybody is after salmonids and shrimp, and very least attention to carps, catfish, and tilapia. But so domestic matters, be it food safety, be it low-value species, because this is going to feed in the future, in Asia and Africa. So domestic matters, and domestic consumption and the food safety matters. So we need to really put in more importance to the domestic when it comes to the aquatic animal health ramifications. And my last one or two pieces of advice to especially youngsters, we have accomplished significant progress over the last 5 decades. I'm not against cutting edge molecular tools or AI assisted analytics. Very good, please develop it, but please do not neglect basics. Simple wet mounts, simple clinical science, simple case history can tell you so much about a disease and a disease outbreak, and it help you to characterize. So please do not neglect this. Before you do your sample for your metagenomics, try to do a simple wet mount of a gill and a skin and a thing from multiple fishes, and give it to your students and ask them to see what is there. And you just start with that basics. So please do not neglect simple wet mounts, do not neglect clinical science, do not neglect case history, do not neglect epidemiology, systems approach, concept of risk analysis. What is and finally pathology. My favorite is pathology. Please do not neglect pathology. Pathology is going to help, pathology is going to sustain, that's the only basic science that helps to understand a disease of why the fish is dying, why a person is dying, why an animal is dying. That's where pathology is very, very important. What matters most for us, for the industry, is can we translate science into management? Not easy, but ultimately the industry is looking for simple, cost-effective, better management practices. It's very easy to tell, but it has to be context-specific, location-specific, farmer-specific. It's not easy. And risk-based farm-level biosecurity programs. So this is very important. So I just here would like to spend 1 minute to some great contributors who are all part of the fish health section and the disease DAA series journey. Professor Ron Roberts, excellent pathology teacher. I was fortunate to be taught the subject on inflammation by Ron Roberts, and the way he explained inflammation is so impressive that even now I can just go on. So we need such great teachers who are able to explain some basic concepts, how inflammation can lead to organ failure, what pathology, what clinical science, what. So we need great teachers like Roberts, and the Institute of Sterling, many of you know, has really contributed a lot of manpower to Asia Pacific with respect to masters and PhD students. Another great person with whom we worked is Professor Leitner, and very happy today Arun Dar is there from the same lab, and Professor Leitner has contributed massively to the shrimp sector. Again, a strong pathologist who later became a strong molecular and all that. Professor Hatai from Japan, who was again instrumental in some of the mycology research and also instrumental in EUS work. and Professor Chris Baldock, who is not with us, who was instrumental in introducing aquatic epidemiology concept to some of our Asian colleagues in the beginning. So he was also very instrumental. Like this, there are many. I just thought, because I was involved with all the 4 of them, so I just thought, let me just reflect on them. But there are many who have done contributed exceedingly greatly to the region and to bring, motivate people and to, stir the imaginations of youngsters with respect to research themes and research subjects. Final word, Asia, we cannot be complacent because we are the hot spot for diversity, for small-scale farmers, multiple species, legal, illegal introductions, we name it, we have it. So we cannot be complacent. Whatever tools we might have, disease will come, pathogens are there, emergence and re-emergence is natural. Aquatic animal farming is culturally deeply embedded in Asia Pacific, Asia, especially Asia. So we cannot be complacent with respect to disease. We need to be always vigilant. And collectively, as always we tell, we need to proactively seek solutions and preparedness. This is a huge task so that we can at least avoid future, not just aquatic animal health emergencies, but also One Health emergencies in the region. So with that, let me profusely thank the fish health section of the Asian Fisheries Society, with which I am associated for the last 36 years. I'm very happy. I'm very proud of the fish health section of the Asian Fisheries Society, the only one section which has survived and done exceedingly well as part of the Asian Fisheries Society. ICIR, which has conducted this symposium very nicely and which has given me the opportunity to be the plenary speaker, just to share what little I had. All the organizers who are here, convener Dr. Kuldeep and his team, who are instrumental in who told me, can I give it, and immediately I agreed. I was very happy to, so I was very thankful to you, sir. And all the committees of DAA 12, the multiple committees, all committee members, a big thank you for calling me and giving me the opportunity. And again, as I told, I'm very happy because I was with Fish Health section from the first 1 or 2 years after it was born by great people like Richard Arthur, Professor Muhammad Sharif and others. Then I start getting associated with it. So I'm very happy that I'm part of the journey, and I'm here for the 12th, and hope if health permits, I'll be there also for the 13th, wherever it takes. Thank you very much.